This is CPM Precalculus, Chapter 2, number 100. Find a rule for the linear function g such that g of 1 is equal to 3.5 and g of 4 is equal to 5. Okay, so let's do this before we go ahead and do parts A and B. Here we know that our function g is linear. So g of x is in the form, linear means it's in the form of mx plus b. Right? If it's a line, that's what the form of it takes. Okay? So what does this mean? Well, we know if the input is 1, the output is 3.5. Right? And that gives us the value x comma y. X comma y is just our input comma output. Right? Whenever we input an x value, we get the output out. So this is the same as x comma y, which is equal to, what do we have here? 1, 3.5, right? So this is one point we have on our line g of x, okay? Another point here, we know the input is 4, right? The argument is 4, the output is 5. So that gives us the point 4, 5. So now we have 2 points, right? We have one point here, let's call this one x1, y1, and this point here, x2, y2. Can we find the equation of a line using these 2 points? Remember, a hint is going to be used, the point slope form, which is y minus y1 equals to m times x minus x1. Okay? So if you can go ahead and do that, pause this video and do this, get the formula for the line using these 2 points, okay? You could go ahead and unpause it to check your answer, okay? So hopefully now you're checking your answer. Let's go ahead and find the slope first. The slope we know is equal to the change in y over the change in x, right? So that's the same as y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. And that's just equal to, well, y2 we know is here, so that's 5, minus y1, well, y1 is here, it's 3.5, over x2 right here, that means 4, minus x1 is over here, which is 1, okay? 5 minus 3.5, I can use my calculator, and that will be 1.5. Over 4 minus 1 is 3. Okay? You can, again, I can use my calculator to tell me that this is just 0.5. Okay? Let's go ahead and verify that. 1.5 divided by 3, we get 0.5. Alright. So that is my slope. Now I can use either one of these lines to go ahead and plug it into my slope-intercept form. Okay? I mean point slope form, because we have a point and a slope. So y minus y1, I'm going to use this y1, 3.5, equals to m, we just found is 0.5, times x minus x1 is 1, right? Again, I could have used this point, and it would give me the same formula once we solve for y. Let's go ahead and solve for y. So let's distribute that 0.5. So that's equal to 0.5 x minus 0.5, because 1 times 0.5 is 0.5. Y minus 3.5 is still here. Go ahead and add 3.5 to both sides to get y alone, and we have y is equal to 0.5x plus 3.0, because remember this is a minus, so it's like 3.5 minus 0.5. Okay? So what does this tell us? This tells us that our g of x, now instead of y, the name of our function is g, so g of x is equal to 0.5x plus 3.0. Okay? So this here, let's box the answer, is the rule for a linear function g this rule means go ahead and give me an equation. So that is the equation of our function g. It's linear, it's a line, okay? So you can go ahead and check your answer. No matter if you use this point here or the other one, you'll have the same answer. Okay, so let me take that away. Let's write g of x is equal, let's go ahead and write it one more time. We got g of x is equal to 0.5x plus 3.0. Right, so now I'm going to take all that away and go on to part B. Okay? Part A. Use the result from above, right, our function g, to express 3.5 plus 4 plus 4.5 plus 5 in sigma notation. Alright, so again, we can say this is equal to, let's use sigma notation. Let's start with k is equal to 1. How many terms? We have 1, 2, 3, 4 terms. Okay, so I'm going to go from k is 1 to 4. And my expression I can see is linear, right? Because we're adding 0.5 each time, right? So since I'm adding the same amount, I know it's going to be linear in the form of y equals mx plus b. Similar to this, right? Well, what is my slope? 0.5 times x plus b, right? That's also my line. I know I'm going to change this to k because our variable is k, not x here. So when k is equal to 1, the first term I know is 3.5. So that means 0.5k plus b is equal to 3.5 when k is 1. So let's plug in k being 1. 1 times 0.5 is just 0.5 plus b. Go ahead and subtract 0.5 from both sides. I get b is 3.0. Okay, so that tells me over here y is equal to 0.5k plus 3.0. Okay, write that here, 0.5k plus 3.0. Whoa, that is exactly the same as we have here. Okay, so how could I have used that to express this? Well, basically, right, I know that the change from each number, right, is 0.5, so I have that here, right, and I'm able to see that the first term is going to give me 3.5, so if I say x is 1, my output is 3.5. If x is 2, well, if I plug in 2 here, what's 2 times 0.5? 2 times 0.5 is 1. 1 plus 3 is 4. That gives me my second term. So these are going to be the same because, right, I'm go ahead and I can say, well, g of 1, again, is I plug in 1 for every x value. 0.5 times 1 plus 3.0. That's 3.5. That gives me that first term. G of 2 is equal to, plugging in x is 2, 0.5 times x. Well, let's write 2 plus 3.0. That's equal to 1 plus 3.0 is 4. That's my second term, right? G of 3 is 0.5 times 3 plus 3.0. That's equal to, this is 0.5, sorry. That's equal to 1.5 plus 3, which is 4.5. That's my third term. And g of 4 is equal to 0.5 times 4 plus 3. That's equal to 2 plus 3 is equal to 5. That's my fourth term. So I could go ahead and see, well, this is just plugging in x being 1, 2, 3, and 4. And that also allows me to see, well, this is my expression where x goes from 1, 2, 3 to 4. Okay? All right. So again, this is how we figured that out, looking at since it's linear, just like a line. So let's go on to part B. Find the sum in part A. Well, what is this sum? Okay. let's go ahead and write that out. From k is 1 to 4, 0.5k plus 3.0. Find the sum means to evaluate this. Okay, so I can add up these numbers, or I can use this, right? Let's go ahead and use our calculators. I'm going to pull my calculator here, and I'm going to use my program sum plus, right? Let's run it. Starting is 1. The stopping index is 4, right? And remember the argument, instead of k, I use x in my calculator, so it's 0.5x plus 3. And what do I get? That's equal to 17. Okay, let's check our answer really quickly. Okay, let's just add these 4 numbers up. 3.5 plus 4 plus 4.5 plus 5. And that's equal to 17 too. So we could check our answer there, and we get the same thing. We're good and we're happy. Okay? So that's going through CPM Precalculus Chapter 2, number 100.